That's the gimmick on keeping my channel active. I know some people ask me to make videos. Still hearing about my life because I've had kind of an extreme life in many different areas, doing different things. Often depressing, but I guess people like hearing about the weird stuff just because it sounds kind of unbelievable sometimes. Or maybe, I don't know, the last guy that asked me, I don't know if I think he just wanted to hear the depressing stories. I don't know. I don't know if people want to hear like modeling kind of things, girls acting stupid around me or something, but they probably just wanted to hear depressing stories. But instead of keeping this too depressing, I'm gonna try to tell a story that maybe is at least a little bit kind of funny, so it doesn't sound too woe is me or something. So I'm gonna tell you about my experience in special ed and how I got put in special ed actually for a year in high school. So before that, what can I have to say? What do I have to say about my school experience? Social wise, I went from, which I've talked about in other videos if people want to hear more about that. I went from being pretty popular to so unpopular, I was, basically beat up at the bus stop every day, rocks thrown at my face, girls telling me I was ugly all the time in class to, becoming popular again, and then I was a model, and, I've seen, so whatever. Social wise, I was all over the place, but that's another story. Um, Now, smart wise, generally, I wasn't an idiot. I wasn't super smart, but I guess I wasn't an idiot, right? I was generally, I guess I generally got good grades, A's, B's, or whatever, right? And uh, okay, I'm gonna skip that story. Anyway, so around high school, around the time that high school started, I realized that I didn't want to be in school. I wanted to be an artist, and I was also a stoner at that time. So I was basically, I was like, school has no value for me because I just like getting stoned all the time, skipping class, and I want to be an artist, right? This has nothing, school has nothing for me, right? So I started skipping class a lot and I started doing worse in class and getting worse grades, whatever, blah, 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 right? So I know I have a lot of foreign friends. So I don't know how the school system is there, but the school system in America is, at least when that happened to me, they're basically like, "Whoa, what is going on? Why is this kid doing so bad in school? He used to be, A, B student, right? He must be depressed. He must want to shoot everyone in school, or he must want to kill himself, right? That's how this worked. And so the school's like, what is going on? There must be something wrong with you. You used to get good grades. And then it's just like, no, I just don't really care about school anymore. It's just, I want to be an artist, blah, blah, blah. And like I said, I was a stoner. So I guess it's skipping class, getting stoned all the time, right? Um, but the school wouldn't accept that. They're like, oh, you must be depressed. Do you want to kill yourself? Blah, blah, blah. Are you sure you don't want to kill yourself? You don't want to kill some other people? And I was always like, dude, what the fuck? No, right? Like, I mean, it was pretty bad. It was like one of those things, like, they wanted me to be depressed so bad, it actually kind of made you depressed, right? So the school wanted to have a closer eye on me, right? So, and to people know that my mom is kind of crazy, right? So, like, well, maybe we can put you in special ed to keep a closer eye on you because maybe you've just become retarded, right? True story. So stupid, right? And my mom was like, oh my God, Clayton, this is a great opportunity. You can say you're retarded and the government will give you money, right? Because my middle brother's retarded. So they're like, my mom was all about, she's like, yes, Clayton is very retarded. Clayton is very retarded. Give us money, right? And say you're retarded. I'm like, dude, I'm not saying I'm retarded. Like, what are you talking about? This is stupid, right? But my mom is fucking psycho. But again, that's another story. So she kept on telling us, yes, Clayton has very, he's mental, right? Because my mom was all trying about this to try to get this to happen. So anyway, this is the funny part of the story, right? um, so basically, what they did is they're like, well, let's do a test to see if you're retarded or not. Basically, so stupid, right? So they put me in a small room with this lady who was, I don't know, 300 pounds, kind of short lady, 3. She also seemed kind of like slow herself, you know what I mean? So maybe her dream as a kid was like, oh, I was slow growing up, so now I'm gonna help other slow kids or something. I don't know, right? So, because she kind of had like a speech impediment, it sounded like. Anyway, but keep in mind, I'm gonna get to why her being big is important in a second, right? So we're sitting in this small room and we're having like an exam. She's like, well, I want to make sure that you can still speak properly and converse, right? And I was like, what the fuck? Okay. And she's like, so she started asking me like weird questions. She's like, Clayton, what makes a person have a lot of friends or something like that, right? Whatever she said. And I said something like, oh, well, if someone has a lot of charisma or is charismatic, they probably have a lot of friends. And she was like, whoa, what? She's like, charisma, that is a big word. She's like, obviously you can still speak correctly. And I'm like, this is so fucking stupid, right? So she's like, okay, your brain still works, right? Let's get to like the physical exam. No joke. So I don't remember what the fuck we were doing hand wise or anything else wise. But she's like, the last part of the test was Clayton, I want you to skip around the room. And I know some of my foreign friends, when they've heard this story, they don't know what skipping is. Like skipping is like hopping. Skip, looty dooty dooty dooty. I don't know, that's my example of skipping, right? But when you skip or you hop, you kind of need like a running head start. It's kind of like a movement, right? You start to run and then you're getting into a groove. You can tell I'm a phenomenal fucking dancer. Anyway, um, and I was like, dude, I can't fucking skip. She's like, what do you mean you can't skip? Do you have a problem? I'm just like, no. I'm like, there's no head start. This room is super small. Like, I need to run. I need to, get going, get a head start. She's like, Clayton, I can skip just fine. And I'm like, okay. And she's like, look at this. And she gets up, and I guess because she was fat and she had short legs, and well, fuck me, because she skipped around the room perfectly. And I was like, fuck me, right? And so she's like, I guess you get to be in special ed. And I was like, dude, are you serious? So anyway, they put me in special ed, right? And here's my experience with special ed was fucking terrible because special ed basically they give you your answers in class. Like special ed made me stupider, okay? Like I had already like when you don't do something for a while, you get stupider, I guess, right? And I was already skipping school a lot, you know what I mean? And uh they would give you the answers in class. They would basically do your homework for you. And it was just like, dude, this is so stupid. But here's the main thing that was so funny. They had timeouts. You were allowed to take a timeout if you didn't feel good. No joke. Like one of the classes that we had was like there's literally a timeout room. And then the other this is so stupid. There was a timeout room for high school. So fucking stupid. But here's the thing. They're like, oh, do you feel bad? Do you need a timeout? And it's just like, sure, I need a timeout. So you would go to the timeout room, or just not even if you're in the class, like, I think I need a timeout. I need a timeout. This is fucking stupid. So I would need a timeout, and then I would just leave school. So that's my experience. I was like, this is one of the most stupidest things there is. I was like, so I would just skip class. I'm like, this is so stupid, right? And anyway, so I was skipping class a lot, and then I'm like, okay, maybe Clayton, he's figured this out. Actually, I could tell another funny story. They actually had to get rid of certain in-school suspension because of me because I just broke the system at school so much. But that's another story. But I guess if anyone ever wanted to hear that story. But anyway, so they're basically, oh man, Clayton, he's figured this out. Maybe his brain still works a little bit, right? So then they went back to saying, oh my God, Clayton, you must want to kill yourself or like kill people in school, blah, blah, blah. And they kept saying that to me like every single day. And then eventually, like one time I started crying in class. And they're like, we knew it. You're depressed, blah. And they were just so fucking mean about it. And they're like, okay, well, you're obviously a danger to yourself. So we need to take you out of school, period. And it was a shitty time in my life, obviously, but because my mom was all about whatever makes her life sound harder, she is all about, right? And that was just a terrible time. So the government got involved, and people that's just life though, period, though, right? You could even say that for other things in life. People sometimes they see you and they want you to be something so bad that they just throw it on you no matter what. So yeah, that was a terrible time, and I finally started crying about it in school, and even people saw me. I remember one day because it's just like I think one day I just like ran out when they were just like, man, they started saying like, oh man, I don't think you eat food, do you? You must be so depressed you don't eat food. And I was like, what? And they're like, yeah, I can tell you're like skinny. And I'm like, what? And I just, man, dude, really fucking assholes. Anyway, so the government ended up taking me out of school, and that's why I dropped out of school basically because the government took me out. And it's funny because my teachers, I found out because there was like reports written about me and stuff, and I had read them before, and the teachers, man, they made up like tons of bullshit, um, to fit their agenda. And it's funny, but because I dropped out of school, and then life got pretty good, comparatively. I started making money playing video games. I got a job as a model, and it's funny because I'd always see those teachers then, and sometimes when I was at just in town, or I had a job at Kroger too. Uh, and I'd see the teachers, and you could tell, like, I guess I was becoming handsome, I guess, right? And so you could see the teachers, they liked me, and I was obviously I still tried to be nice, do you know what I mean? But deep down, I was kind of like, I saw what you guys fucking wrote in those reports, and you guys fucking ruined like a year of my life, basically, So, uh, yeah, fuck them, basically. Only other funny, can I think of any funny story? Like another funny story to talk about this too. I saw one of the teachers. I think it was about a couple of years ago. Maybe I haven't seen her in 10 years. I don't remember what it was. Who knows? Because like I dropped out when I was like 15 or something, right? So, um, what happened? Year two ago, what was it? So I remember I saw her at the store. She didn't even recognize me, but I was trying to be nice. I was like, "Oh, Miss, let's call her Miss Boom Shakalaka," and I was like, "Hey, what's up?" Right? Because we just passed, and she's like, "What the fuck?" She's like, "What?" And I'm like, "Hey," and she's like, "Oh my God," she's like, "I'm married," and I was like, "What?" And she's like, "Wow," she's like, "I'm married, okay," and I was like, "What?" And she's like, "I'm married, but you are really good looking." And she's like, "Whoa, I gotta go find my husband." And I'm just like, I don't know. I guess that's the last time I can think of being seeing the teacher from school. But yeah, there's my story of there's my story of special ed. I don't know if people ever want to hear any other kind of weird stories that I've sort of vaguely talked about on my YouTube before. You can message me and I can talk about it. But yeah, keeping my channel active. That's my gimmick. And